Chapter 2. Tishan, where is the expert you mentioned? Be quiet, don't disturb the master. In the distance, there was a commotion, and the words were all excited and curious. Lin Xun's eyes swept away, and he landed on the leader of the old man. The old man had grey beard, although he was thin, his body was tall, and his gestures showed a majesty. What? When he saw Lin Xun standing in the distance, the tall old man stopped abruptly, and the excitement between his eyebrows solidified and was replaced by a doubt. Thin teenager. Where's the master? Taishan, what about the master? Why is there only one young guy standing here? When seeing Lin Xun's appearance clearly, the villagers who followed Tishan also had a hint of suspicion in their expressions. Taishan was suddenly embarrassed, and quickly shouted, "Everyone, the master is the little brother in front of you." It's okay that he didn't explain, but the scene suddenly became a mess when he explained it. What? You said that this little boy can make your spiritual valley a bumper harvest? This is just nonsense. Ha ha, Tishan, you were obviously deceived by this kid. He is an 11 or 12-year-old baby. What kind of expert is he? Also kill the sand bug. I think he will only urinate to help you water the spiritual field. Tishan, now everyone's spiritual fields have been harmed. Why are you still in the mood to joke at this time? Everyone is dissatisfied, ridiculed, suspicious, angry, and messed up. All of them subconsciously think that Tishan has been deceived. After all, Lin Xun looked too young, naive and thin, and there was a pale color on his slightly delicate face. Taishan was in a hurry and at a loss. He shouted again and again, "Everyone, I really didn't lie to you," this little brother said. "If you can do it, you will know after it dry." Unfortunately, everyone felt deceived and had no intention of listening to his explanation. In this chaotic situation, Lin Xun ignored the strange gazes around him, walked straight to the tall old man, and said, "If I'm not mistaken, you should be the village chief of Fian village?" Exactly. The tall old man nodded, and looked at Lin Xun up and down with a pair of slightly vicissitudes of eyes, but he didn't show any emotions. He seemed very calm. "Then do you agree to my terms?" Lin Xun asked. The tall old man was keenly aware that the young man in front of him seemed innocent and young, but he had a calm demeanor that did not match his age. This made him move in his heart, nodded and said, "If you can do what you said, I can make the decision to let you stay in Fian village." As soon as these words came out, many people nearby were stunned, and said suspiciously, "Village chief, don't you really believe what this little guy said?" At this moment, the tall old man fully showed the courage of a village chief, waving his hand and saying, "How will you know if you don't try things in this world?" Lin Xun smiled, knowing that the situation was settled. He turned to Tishan and said, "Uncle, can I bring the food I want?" Tishan quickly took out a large piece of dried animal meat and handed it over, and also thoughtfully prepared a skin bag filled with water for Lin Xun. Lin Xun didn't talk nonsense. He squatted on one side of the ridge and devoured it. Although this animal meat didn't have much spiritual power, it was sprinkled with salt and sauce, and it tasted really good. The villagers couldn't help laughing when they saw Lin Xun's reincarnation-like appearance of a starving ghost, and they became more and more suspicious. Could this little guy be a little beggar who cheated food and drink? Even Taishan couldn't help but feel a little dazed, and felt a sense of insecurity in his heart. If Lin Xun lied and deceived others, then Taishan would be embarrassed. Only the tall old man looked at Lin Xun kindly, with a hint of strangeness in his eyes. This little guy was either a liar who was not afraid of death, or he was really capable. No matter which one it is, being able to act so calmly is already worthy of recognition. Not long after, Lin Xun devoured a piece of animal meat like a wind and a cloud, and filled his stomach with sweet spring water, making his whole body happy. "Little brother, is it time to act?" Tishan couldn't help but said, "Hold on." Lin Xun looked up at the sky and said casually. Time passed bit by bit, and the night sky was already pouring in the distance. Just when everyone was about to get impatient, Lin Xun, who had been silent for a long time, finally made a move. He opened the old wooden box on the ground beside his feet, and skillfully pulled out a handle that was 2 feet 3 inches long and 3 fingers wide. The blue short knife, then lifted his foot and walked straight into the spiritual field. At this moment, the tall old man squinted his eyes, and he vaguely felt that Lin Xun seemed to have a déjà vu in his body. He was condensed, calm, and focused. A vague memory about to be forgotten. The tall old man made a decisive decision, waved his hand, and stopped the surrounding villagers who were complaining. "Don't make any more noise, just wait quietly." There was an unmistakable majesty in his voice. In an instant, all the noisy sounds disappeared, and all eyes looked at Lin Xun in the distance, with a hint of suspicion in his expression. Although they couldn't talk, some villagers winked at each other and dispersed silently, guarding around the Lingshan to prevent Lin Xun from taking the opportunity to escape. Lin Xun didn't seem to notice the subtlety of the surrounding atmosphere, and directly took out a piece of golden broken bone the size of a thumb and shaped like a fang from his arms. He clenched the handle of the knife with his right hand, exerted force on his wrist, and scraped the blue-green blade on the broken golden bone, making a screeching sound. Straws of pale golden powder floated from the broken bone and fell into Lin Xun's palm, until the palm was covered with a thick layer of pale golden powder. Then Lin Xun stopped and carefully put away the golden broken bone. Then he took a deep breath, squatted on the ground, and dipped his fingertips in the pale golden powder, sketching on the wet ground. This distance allowed the villagers to clearly see what he was doing. I saw Lin Xun's slightly pale face with concentration. His eyes were calm and clear, his fingertips were like a vigorous brush stroke, and he outlined a series of twists and turns on the ground. The villagers couldn't help but stare wide-eyed, watching Lin Xun's movements without blinking, and the prototype of the pale golden pattern with a mysterious atmosphere on the ground. Even if they are stupid and don't understand, they can see that what Lin Xun is doing is something completely beyond their imagination. The focused and determined eyes, the neat and skillful movements, and the light golden dense pattern that was about to be gradually outlined on the ground gave Lin Xun a mysterious color. The doubts in the hearts of many villagers disappeared unknowingly, and even the hearts of many people have been conquered by the means shown by Lin Xun. They couldn't understand it, but it didn't prevent them from having a pleasing and stunning beauty to the means displayed by Lin Xun. At this time, the tall old man was not easily aware of the ground shaking, and finally confirmed one thing. What this seemingly weak and young boy carved on the ground turned out to be a spiritual pattern.